Comes to you guys. Welcome back to another week of building with bodyweight calisthenics. Unless you've been following my journey on Instagram, this is probably the first time you're seeing my new backyard setup. For the past year, I've trained in one of two places. 99% of the time, it was in my bedroom doorway using nothing but a pull-up bar, gymnastics rings, and the floor. When filming for YouTube, I'd head to a park so I could set the camera down, hit record, and just focus on my session, which is pretty hard to do in a small flat where the walls and furniture get in the way. Those options worked really well, but to streamline things and start uploading more frequently, I decided to build this rig right here in my backyard. If all goes to plan, this should help me post new videos every week. After a few weeks of hunting online for a minimal setup, I found this pull-up bar on Facebook Marketplace for about £40. The owner ended up offering it to me for £30 because I helped unassemble it. It was 2 years old, used and filled with liquid rust, but honestly it was still great value. Plus, I like not having to worry if it gets a little beat up. The fact that it was more stable and at least £60 cheaper than any new rig online made it a no-brainer for me. I saw some parallel bars too, but for now, I'll keep using my rings for muscle ups and dips. I've trained about 5 sessions here so far and it's holding up nicely. There are a few pain points to mention though. The floor is made of cement that clearly wasn't leveled correctly. It's also got some small sharp rocks baked into it. This makes it tricky to keep the bar stable and to do movements that require balance like handstand push-ups. The other thing is, we're approaching winter in London and it looks like rain might be frequent, so I'll need a backup plan so I can stay consistent with weekly videos. I'm open to suggestions if you guys have any, like a waterproof setup for a camera or something, because personally I don't mind training in the rain. But overall, I'm loving my new rig. If you're new here, you might be wondering how I managed to build an athletic physique or continue progressing in my calisthenics skills with such minimal equipment. To be honest, if you've got rings, a pull-up bar, the floor, and a wall, you'd be pretty surprised at what you can do, if you know what you're doing. Your body doesn't know whether you're lifting weights or not. It only knows the stimulus that you give it and the intensity you train with. It's not the flashiest setup, but I'm living proof that you can build serious shape, strength, and control with a minimal setup and approach, which is a great segue into how I actually do that. Over the past couple of years, and especially after reading the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown, I've been inspired to cut out the noise, reevaluate, and simplify my life. From my wardrobe to my daily habits, it's been about quality over quantity. Implementing the philosophy that less, but better, is more. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll probably seen how that's carried over into my training. I've stripped my routine down to the bodyweight compound exercises that give me the most bang for buck, for both hypertrophy and skill progression. In this upper body workout, you're seeing 5 of them: handstand push-ups, bar pull-ups, ring dips, chin-ups, and muscle-ups. Muscle-ups don't necessarily drive my current goals, but they make training fun, and that's just as important for long-term adherence and consistency. Performing antagonist supersets not only allows me to condition my body to handle the stress, but it also keeps the total workout duration under 1 hour, which helps me to really be intentional with every rep. I'm running this upper body workout every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, with a lower body day on Tuesday. I've been really enjoying this split for the past few months, but I'm planning on a few tweaks soon, which I'll share in upcoming videos. One thing I can reveal though, is that I've added running back into my training again. And it's not because I'm trying to become a hybrid athlete or run a marathon. It's because every time I try sprinting, I pull a hamstring. Or every time I run, my feet start killing me. And I refuse to lose something that I love so much. It just doesn't sit right that I train hard for my lower body, only to struggle with something as natural as running. Plus, I used to run a lot growing up. Not for fitness, but because I genuinely loved it. It was one of those things that really made me feel free. When I started prioritizing hypertrophy training, I cut it out for my best chances of staying in a caloric surplus, especially with my fast metabolism. But now that I'm happy with the muscle I've built, I'm ready to bring it back into the mix. This new goal, combined with my feet somehow growing a full size and a half in the past few months, pushed me to grab a new pair of wheels. I used them for my first run recently, and I've set myself a new lower body goal to run 10 kilometers by the end of 2025. It's not a huge goal in terms of distance, but it'll be just enough to kickstart my motivation in this lane of my fitness journey. Anyway, back to simplifying my lifestyle. It's also reshaped the way I see food. Lately, I've been eating mostly home-cooked, single-ingredient meals throughout the week, minus spices and seasoning, of course. I initially wanted to see how it would affect my energy, performance, and physique, and honestly, the results have been great. My stomach feels less bloated throughout the day, my energy stays consistent after meals, my weight and body fat percentage don't fluctuate as dramatically. It feels much easier to stay lean based on my stats, and I'm actually saving money because I stay fuller for longer. At first, it was tough giving up my beloved protein cereal and flapjacks, and the convenience of having ready-made protein sources. But after about 3 weeks on this new approach, the cravings kind of just disappeared. Now, I just enjoy those snacks once every week or two, instead of a few times daily. If you caught how I'm looking at the start of this video, you can probably tell it's working. If you want to see exactly what I've been eating, I've posted all my go-to recipes as shorts on my channel. And for the real meal photos, check out my Instagram. For the rest of this video, I'm going to answer some of the questions that you asked me in my comment section. What's your favorite transonic aircraft? Let me geek out for a sec and give you some context as to why this question means a lot to me. When I was a kid, my parents made sure I had a drawing book with me everywhere I went. It was their way of curing my boredom and settling my ADHD, and one of my favorite things to draw were planes. It even got to the point where I dreamt of becoming an aircraft engineer one day. Obviously that didn't happen, but this question really resurfaced that passion in me. So thank you, Batty Cheese Knob, for asking it. For me, my favorite transonic plane was actually the Airbus A380. When this first launched, my dad and I went crazy. We even bought a few diecast models that he put on his work desk and I put on my desk at home. And for those who might not get it, you know when you see a souped up car with a fat body kit? That's exactly what it felt like, but in plane form. And only recently did I get to fly on an A380 for the first time ever, and I was geeking out the entire time. While I'm not as deep into the plane scene as I used to be, I still remember my childhood favorites, and most of them were actually supersonic. Around that time, I was also obsessed with games like Halo and Modern Warfare 2, so fighter jets and warplanes were right up my alley. Right up the top of the list for me was the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor. The shape and design was so sleek, which made it super fun for me to draw as a kid. Plus, the Michael Bay Transformers saga had Starscream as an F-22, and that just made me love Decepticons even more. Also, Velociraptors were my favorite dinosaurs growing up, so it all just clicked to me. This plane had to be my favorite. Two others I loved were the B-2 Spirit Bomber and the F-117 Nighthawk. What is your camera/editing stack? This has got to be top 3 most frequently asked questions in my comment section recently. And to make it as easy as possible for you to mimic my minimal setup, I've linked all the camera gear that I use to create content in my description. If you guys want to see what my setup actually looks like in action, comment below so I know to make that behind the scenes video. When it comes to editing software, although I know how to use the entire Adobe suite, I'm currently editing on CapCut because it gets the job done for the cheapest membership. In a previous video, I asked you guys to guess where I hide my mic to get that immersive audio effect when I'm training. Some of your guesses included in my pocket, on my gymnastics rings, using my phone, or in the actual pull-up bar. These are all great guesses, but actually when I'm training at parks, I just attach my DJI mic mini to my backpack strap with a dead cat to minimize wind noise. I've also linked this mic in my description if you're after a discreet, on-the-go mic with crispy audio. What is ROM work that you do at the end of your workouts? ROM basically is range of motion abbreviated. I usually do this at the end of each workout to remind my body and CNS of what it's like to hit end ranges while under fatigue, so that it doesn't freak out when I'm pushing to failure. If you had a child, how would you raise them to do calisthenics? In my experience of trying to get family and close ones into fitness, the best approach is to lead by example. When I have kids, I plan to have an at-home gym setup, mainly for convenience in such a hectic and chaotic period, but also so that my kids can grow up seeing training as a norm. I'll also set up a playground of some sort with monkey bars as a way to keep them active while having fun as well. But if they're just not into it, that's fine too. Personally, I wasn't even into training growing up. Would you say it's better to keep workout routines simple for the sake of it being simple, or is it better to hit 10 different exercises to make sure you're hitting everything? To me, you shouldn't be doing anything for the sake of it. It's important to have reasoning and intent behind what you do. I can't generalize and say that everyone should go for a simple approach, but I do stand by what I mentioned before in that less but better is more. Although I'm doing less exercises, I'm picking compounds that hit multiple muscles in one go, focusing on high quality execution so I don't have to focus on isolations afterwards. But again, that's according to my goals. I'm not trying to build the most refined physique. I'm trying to progress and build muscle with calisthenic skills and movements. Keeping workouts simple helps minimize overall duration of the workout, which personally helps me stick to the plan for longer. It also helps me be more intentional with every rep. It's easier to bring quality to 4 to 6 exercises than 10 plus. I just pick the list of compounds with the highest return on investment towards my goals and execute those with undeniable quality. That approach has been helping me progress week in and week out. Bulking with calisthenics. How long should you give yourself time to do so? Not in the dirty bulk sense, but by staying in a slight, steady surplus year round. And let me explain. When you try to gain weight too quickly, research shows that you actually usually end up adding more fat than muscle. And while fat does serve a purpose, like fueling longer sessions, supporting hormones, and protecting joints, too much of it becomes dormant weight. It doesn't help you move better, control your body, or build strength. And in calisthenics, your body is the weight that you're lifting. So when you're constantly jumping between bulking and cutting phases, or body weight keeps fluctuating, it's like lifting a barbell that gets heavier and lighter from time to time. You wouldn't expect consistent long-term progress like that when training with weights, right? The same should apply with calisthenics. From my experience as both an athlete and a coach, the most effective way to build muscle without sacrificing skill progression is to find a body fat range that you can comfortably maintain. One that supports healthy hormones, keeps your diet sustainable, and allows you to perform every workout feeling light, strong, and in control. From there, maintain a small calorie surplus, just enough to build muscle gradually without accumulating unnecessary fat. You'll stay lean, fuel your performance properly, and keep your strength to weight ratio exactly where it needs to be to keep progressing in your skills. Do you push till failure every set? I usually aim for technical failure each set with 1 dirty rep in the bank. How long should I rest between sets? The amount of time you should rest should be dictated by how much time you can afford to train and how long it takes you to recover sufficiently to be able to bring quality and intent to your next set. How long do you, as in me, rest between sets? My sweet spot for this workout is about 90 seconds or a minute and a half. Every now and then, with movements I'm more comfortable with, like muscle ups, I experiment with really minimal rest times, like 45 seconds or less, as a cheeky challenge. How long does this workout usually take you? This workout that you're seeing right now takes me anywhere from 50 to 55 minutes. What's the frequency of this workout? How often do you do this per week? I do this 3 times a week, but that's based on my current level and goals. You can use this structure and change the exercise variations to suit your level. Just try to aim for at least 2 times per week. Any recommendations on nutrition? I'm just going to give you some one-liners without reasoning or context that I wish someone told me when I started my journey. Feasibility is crucial for you to stick to the plan long term. To make habits stick, don't just try to achieve a goal. Try to reshape your identity so that you embody those habits. This will not only make sure that they stick, but it will also help you feel less like you're trying to be someone else or do something that you don't want to do. A high protein diet is beneficial for everyone and every goal. Don't demonize macros. They're all important for different things. Eat mostly whole foods. Don't forget about sufficient hydration. It improves everything, even outside of fitness. Prioritize both micronutrients as well as macronutrients. How do you fit cardio into your training sessions? I don't. I train it separately every time. Also, I try to avoid cardio before hypertrophy focused sessions to eliminate fatigue that hinders maximal quality execution. If you do want to combine cardio with hypertrophy in one session, I'd recommend doing cardio afterwards. I love your training philosophy, but can't perform a single pull-up. How do I start as a beginner? In my experience as a personal trainer, probably less than 5% of people can actually do a clean pull-up, so you're not alone. All calisthenics movements and skills can be achieved by working your way through a series of progressions that break down the skill into simpler exercises, allowing you to build the required strength and conditioning. Your job is to find where along that map you are and which progression you're up to for a particular skill. An example of a progression scheme would be floor pike push-ups to elevated pike push-ups, then back to wall handstand push-ups, chest to wall handstand push-ups, and then finally freestanding handstand push-ups. When would you recommend EMOM or every minute on the minute over sets and reps? Personally, I would never recommend EMOM over sets and reps, but I do find that they can help for low intensity sessions where skill development is the focus. Yeah, so hopefully this video helped you. If you're looking for a training program to build muscle and skills with calisthenics, check out the link in my description. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.